What's going on, everybody? Welcome into this live edition of Hoops from the Hills. This is Couz. Unfortunately, Paul was not able to make the show tonight. He has some things going on with his family that he had to tend to. So I'm taking the mantle and running with it tonight. We will miss him, but the show must go on. And I know you guys were waiting on us to come in here and do the show. So thank you for stopping in. Welcome into the live stream. Unfortunately, the Mountaineers did not hold serve at home tonight against BYU as they dropped the game to the Cougars 86-73, West Virginia's first conference loss at home. After beating teams like Kansas, Texas, and Cincinnati, they dropped to BYU. Hats off to BYU. They played a really good basketball game, shot the ball well from three. Traore was unstoppable in the paint for the Cougars. West Virginia had no answers for him. And that was the two biggest differences to me in this game. None of West Virginia's bigs just have a big enough body to be able to match up with Traore or really anyone like him, to be honest. Real quick, before we get too far along, guys, I want to give a shout-out to our channel sponsor. This live episode of Hoops from the Hills is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Ford, Hyundai, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. And remember, guys, they do have locations outside the state of West Virginia. So check out their website, DutchMillerAuto.com. They might just have a location near you as well, even if you're not in West Virginia. Now, again, just points in the paint tonight was a big deal, and then three-point shooting was a big deal. I'll go ahead and pull the stats up, guys. Before I do that, though, I'm going to give a shout-out to some of you guys in the chat. Jacob Yoho, thank you for coming in. Curtis D, 316. John Waffle, H2P, JDK, Timothy Green, David Cummings. Thank you all for coming in. Lizel Barnes in the house. John Christophic in the house. Thank you all for coming in and joining me tonight on this live stream. And again, for those of you who may be popping in, Paul was not able to join me. He has some personal stuff going on with his family that he had to tend to. So I decided to fly solo tonight. It's actually, I'm used to doing this on my football show, and when I do it over there, it's not a big deal. But for some reason, when I come on here and talk basketball, it's really awkward to do this by myself without Paul. Really strange, even though I do it all the time in football. Just weird. Just weird, I guess. I'm so used to, so he and I are both accustomed to being together on this channel. And he and I were talking about that the other day, how it's just really awkward for either of us to have to do something alone. But even though we both do it all the time. But anyway, let's take a look at the stats, and we'll kind of talk about that real quick. Obviously, you've got let me make sure you guys can see this. All right, good deal. All right, you've got obviously field goals. West Virginia was 28 of 66. BYU was 32 of 66. They shot at 48.5% compared to 42.4 for the Mountaineers. 3-point percentage, 36.1 for BYU, but they shot 36 of them, made 13. West Virginia shot at only 28.6 from three-point range, 8 out of 28. Now, I'm going to stop there for a second. I thought in the second half, West Virginia did not do a good enough job getting Jesse Edwards the ball down low, especially considering Traore had 3 fouls. Now, West Virginia was doing well in this game. It was a close game, competitive game. Jesse Edwards was basically having his way down low with BYU early on. He got those 2 fouls, had to go to the bench in the first half. That's when BYU pulled away. When Jesse was back in the game in the second half, they didn't go back down low to him like they did early in the game. Now, I'm sure BYU had adjusted, but they needed to either adjust to that or figure out another way to get him the basketball, in my opinion, because that was the key to this game. They needed Jesse Edwards to score the basketball in this game. There was nobody on that team that could stop him if he got the ball down low. But for whatever reason, they got away from that. And I thought that was a difference in this game. They were forcing I don't know if they were forcing them to shoot West Virginia shoot threes, but West Virginia was shooting a lot of threes nonetheless, really more than they needed to. West Virginia does not need to be shooting 28 3-pointers in a game. That's not a winning formula for this team. hats off to Kirk Creasy, though. He did at least keep him within striking distance late with his big threes, but it just wasn't enough. Free throw shooting, 9 of 14 for BYU, 9 of 12 for West Virginia. Not a big difference there. Rebounds, tied up, 35-35. Offensive rebounds, 9 to 9, and defensive was 26 to 26. So rebounding was not the issue tonight. That stat line is actually surprising, guys. I'm looking at this just like you guys are, probably for the first time. Typically, if West Virginia rebounds the ball as well as the other team, they win the game. Not on this night. Assists, BYU had the edge there, 19 to 13. Steals, 4 to 4. Blocks, 4 to 2 in favor of BYU. Total turnovers, West Virginia 9, BYU 8 points, or fast break points. It was 10 to 8 actually in favor of West Virginia. Points in the paint. Wow, this is surprising. BYU only outscored West Virginia by 2 in the paint. 38-36. Wow. So basically, it really goes down to the three-point shooting. 13 made threes for BYU compared to 8 for West Virginia. There's your game right there. There's your game. At least, just looking at the assists too. I want to talk about that a minute. BYU had 19 assists to West Virginia's 13. BYU was passing the ball really, really well, which is what they do. They move the ball well. They run good offense. They get open shots. They did that tonight. And they even made a few shots that weren't open. So hats off to them for that. But West Virginia didn't do a good enough job rotating on their man-to-man defense. Didn't do a good enough job several times stopping guys from driving to the rim, which has been an issue all year. The dribble penetration, as we heard the TV announcer talk about, dribble penetration was a huge issue for this basketball team. So anyway, there's your team stats, guys. So, I mean, really, statistically, West Virginia didn't get beat that badly in many categories. Assists and made threes were the biggest differences. Again, the free throw differential was they made the same amount of free throws. And more BYU made a few more shots from the field overall, 32 compared to 28. So, again, just made shots. BYU made more shots than West Virginia did, and they made them when they needed to. I think that was critical. And then, but again, it was because of the way they ran their offense. And Trey Ore, he dominated the game down low. West Virginia, again, like I said earlier, had nobody that could stop him. Now let's look at some individual stats. Get over here in the John Kelly's in the house. Thank you, John. Big Aaron, if you guys are just joining us, Paul had a family issue tonight. Was not able to jump on with me. We started to wait and do this later with, hoping he could get home in time. But I knew you guys would be waiting in here, and I didn't want to keep you waiting for like an hour. So I've decided to just jump on here and do it. Cole D, thanks for hopping in. Again, I mentioned John Kelly. Thank you for hopping in, man. We appreciate you guys jumping on. Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up Jay Jacobs. I actually listened to the first half of this game. I actually synced my TV with the radio broadcast so I could hear Jay Jacobs call the game one more time. Hats off to Jay Jacobs, a legend in West Virginia University as a broadcaster. Was a player at West Virginia as well, played alongside Jerry West at West Virginia is my understanding. So going to miss Jay Jacobs as a broadcaster. I know this was the only game he's going to be able to do this year. I'm assuming for health reasons, but he's a legend, man. Jay, we're going to miss you, man. Hats off to you. I was happy to hear you call a game one more time, even if it was a loss. So we're going to miss the legend Jay Jacobs as he signed off from calling games for West Virginia. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring that up tonight, guys. I harken back to a lot of shows, listen to a lot of the Bob Huggins shows with him and Tony and Bob and Coach Huggins, and how they used to he and Coach Huggins used to rib each other, man. And I'm sure they still do that when they see each other in person. His wife had an accident. Oh, I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that, Cole. I saw a picture of him coming in. He was on a walker, so I'm sure it's probably hard for him to get around now at his age and health stuff going on. Yeah, I saw Hugs talking to him at the Coliseum. Saw Ryan Baker talking to him. But yeah, again, we're going to miss the legend Jay Jacobs calling games for the Mountaineers. Let's bring up the team stats here, so I can pull those up for you, or the individual stats rather. All right, here we go. Obviously, it started off with BYU since they're the winning team. Again, Trey Orr was the man down low. 10 of 15 shooting the ball, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 24 points, 9 rebounds. Just dominant inside. Then you go down here, Johnson had 15 points, 3-11 from 3. Robinson had 12, was 4 of 9 from 3. And then off the bench, Saunders had a great game off the bench, was our second leading scorer with 17 points. And just shot the lights out from 3, 4 from 6, and was 6 of 10 overall from the field. Also had 4 rebounds of his own. So look at this. Hall, their point guard, 12 assists on the night, 8 points, 12 assists. Really good game for him. That right there is where it all starts. It's his ability to run the offense, pass the basketball. And that's what makes this BYU team so tough to beat. Team that passes the ball that well, it makes it that much harder for a team to guard. And when you struggle defensively at times like West Virginia does, it can be a struggle. So, and then let's go to West Virginia stats. Leading scorer for Mountaineers for the night was Kerr Creasy with 23. Was 5 of 10 from 3-point range, 8 of 14 overall from the floor. Had 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Jesse Edwards, 16 points, 7 rebounds on 7 of 9 shooting. Also had a couple blocks on the night. Quinn Slazinski, not a good night for him, was 2 of 11 shooting the ball, only 4 points. Raekwon Battle had a decent night tonight, 14 points on 2 of 7 from 3, 5 of 15 overall from the floor, 4 rebounds. And JoJo Harris had a decent night off the bench with 8 points, also had 6 rebounds. Noah Farrakhan struggled tonight as well, only 1 of 5 from the floor, only 2 points. He did have 3 rebounds tonight and 3 assists as well, but overall, man, Jesse Edwards' early foul trouble was kind of what got things rolling downhill for West Virginia, and or got the snowball rolling, I should say. And then they just were never able to overcome that deficit that they got in. And again, like I said earlier, they needed to get him the basketball late, and they didn't do it. And they needed to put pressure on Trey Orr, try to foul him out, and just couldn't do it. I mean, that's what it all boils down to, man, is they could not. BYU was able to do whatever they wanted to do. Let me address some of these comments. When is the last time WVU has played zone defense? It has been a while, Curtis. I was actually wondering that tonight myself, but BYU shoots the ball so well from 3. I'm not sure they're the right team to go against. But, heck, when you get down, what were they down, 17 at one time, man, I think you need to try something. I'll tell you one thing tonight. I know a lot of you guys have mentioned this before after games is why does Allard not play Ali Ragab? Because he's such a big body, and they struggle with these big-bodied centers. Tonight's the night I think I might have put him in the game. Trey Orr was having his way down low. Nobody could stop him. They were down 15 or 17 points at the time, and I thought to myself, what can it hurt? You're down 17, put him in. If you can shut Trey Orr down in down low, even if you just bring him in for defense just to shut down Trey Orr, just to put a body on Trey Orr to shut him down, it might have been worth not having him on the offensive end if he wasn't able to contribute on the offensive end, because you had Kerr that was scoring the ball. Raekwon was scoring the ball some. Let those guys do your scoring and have him in the game to try to slow Trey Orr down. Now, maybe he couldn't have. Maybe he's not athletic enough. I don't know. I've never seen the kid play in person. But just a thought I had, man, just give it a shot. Why not, right? The game was getting out of hand. It was going downhill quickly. Give it a shot. And, yeah, BYU is a good team, Brendan. Absolutely are. I'm not questioning that one bit. But this is a game West Virginia should have won. I read over the team stats earlier. I don't know if you were on here yet, but West Virginia was neck and neck with BYU in just about every statistical category, including rebounding. BYU made more threes than West Virginia did. They had more assists than West Virginia did, and they made more shots overall from the floor. That was really the difference. West Virginia, they got to the basket a few too many times on West Virginia as far as the dribble drive, and Trey Orr down low was unstoppable. And that was the difference. JD says they should have given Ollie play time before league play started to see what he could do. Lizel says, so what? Let him foul then. That's exactly. That's the way I look at it. Edwards couldn't be physical enough on D trying to protect his hand. Quinn has no defense. He's such a liability. I don't know if Quinn's a liability. He's not a great defender, but he's so good. He can be so good offensively that you need him on the floor. And he's had some really good games lately, man. Quinn's a really good player. It was not a good night for him. When he's shooting the ball well, he's a very reliable player and a very reliable scorer, but tonight just wasn't his night. John Kelly says Reed reacts, schemes solely, counterattacks all game. Yep. Lazo says Jesse doesn't play good defense. Lazo, I think his hand is hurting him there a little bit. I think he's still trying to protect it a little bit. And two, we have to remember he came into this year never having played a man-to-man defense in college. He spent all 4 years at Syracuse where they play zone all the time. So he had to kind of adjust to playing man, and missing those 4 weeks, I'm sure, didn't help. He's a good shot blocker, and he does affect shots around the rim, but he's not great, as far as, playing a guy with his back to the basket. He's not great at that. I agree with you there. But I think a lot of that is due to his, he's a thin guy. He's not real big, and some guys can just push him around. And again, I think his wrist may also play a role in that too. BYU was the first time, I believe, that played the type of offense we faced tonight. 4 points now. I wonder Patino didn't want him. Oh, no wonder. I see what you're saying. Yeah, they did. They come back. Kudos to the team, man. They made a big comeback in the second half from down 18 to down 6. They scrapped. They clawed their way back. This team never gives up, man. You got to credit them for that. They never give up. They give it all they've got. The deck has been stacked against them all year, and they've continued to fight and battle and claw and try to make the best of it, man. And they could have easily hung their heads and quit, and they haven't. But it would be nice to see them pull out a few of these wins. At this point, man, in the season, I mean, they needed to hold serve at home, at least for the rest of the year. They weren't able to do that. They've got a lot, and BYU's a good team, but they have some teams on their schedule coming up that are better than BYU. And I just think it's going to be, this season, I don't want to say it's a wash, but it almost is. What they need to focus on is getting better each and every night with each game, with each practice. And hopefully by the time they get to the Big 12 tournament, they'll be finally ready to play as a team. They'll have all their pieces in place. Jesse may be back to 100% healthy. And maybe then they can make a run in the tournament. That's really our only chance at this point of getting into the big dance. Matter of fact, the only consistency Quinn shows is his lack to play defense. Kerr got it down, didn't even feel like a team effort a lot of the time. I'm also not sure we should have played up and down with them and hurried John, I'm with you there, man. The other night against Cincinnati, West Virginia, I think they need to stick to that style of play. Get the ball down low to Jesse, play a slower, more methodical half-court offense. Let him work work inside out and play the game that way. I think we kind of might have played into BYU's hands a little bit by trying to get up and down the floor because they're really good in transition, especially with those transition threes. And I think that kind of worked against West Virginia tonight. Trevor was using his weight to bully our guys. I think Regab is the only guy with that size that could. Yep, agree, Curtis. You have to be on every night to have no defense. Yeah, everybody. I'm pretty sure every team gets in the Big 12 tournament, Brendan, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think anybody. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Turnover margin. Let me look at it real quick, and I can tell you. Turnover margin was, I think it was 9-8. Yep. West Virginia had 9 turnovers, and BYU had 8 turnovers. So again, that. Sorry about that, guys. I hit the wrong button. That was not the difference in the game to me. Chris Mitchell says Harris should have got more minutes over Slash tonight. He was playing well. He was playing well. And I did miss a few minutes of the game, taking my daughter somewhere. Did I miss it, or did a cook not play tonight? Somebody let me know in the comments. Did a cook play tonight or not? And if he didn't, did the broadcast team ever mention why he didn't? Yeah, I disappeared on you, Liza. I was in hiding for a minute. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me why he didn't play tonight, to be honest. Yeah, he was there. I saw him on the bench and saw him in the handshake line after the game. Cole says, do you think we could see Josh let go before the end of the season and one of the assistants given a chance? I don't think so, Cole. They're going to let this season play out. They gave him a 10-month contract. They'll let that 10 months play out. And then they'll go find a coach. That's what I think they'll do. I would say once the season's over, the day after that, Ren Becker is going to be in coach search mode, would be my guess. And he may already be. I don't know. Earval says they said he has to meet certain parameters to play. Maybe he didn't. Parameters as far as what? Health? Yeah, I get it, Cole. I know what you meant, man. John says they will not fire him in the middle of the year, but they will find another coach next year. Agreed. Health, okay. I wonder what's going on. Was he ill or was it an injury? Val, if you don't mind. I missed that somehow. Like I said, I wasn't able to watch the entire thing. And I missed pretty much all the pregame. So I didn't catch anything that was said pregame. His heart. Oh, well he's been playing. Did he have another issue? Did he have another flare up or I don't know how I missed that. Chris Mitchell says last game they said a cook has to pass health test precautions before games. Ah, okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. Hey, we got 52 in here and not many likes. Thank you, Cole. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, everybody. And if you're, by the way, I always forget to do this, but if you happen to be watching on X, we are streaming this live on X as well. If you happen to be watching there, I appreciate you, first of all. If you want to catch more of our shows, whether they be the pre-recorded shows or the live shows, past live shows, go back, come check us out over at YouTube, Hoops from the Hills. We'd love to have you over there as a member of the family, of our YouTube family. Unfortunately, my partner, Mountaineer Paul, couldn't be with me tonight. He's got some family stuff he's dealing with, but we thank everybody for hopping in, whether you're on X or on YouTube. But anyway, yeah, let me be sure to like it, guys. Even if you're watching this live on the replay, or I'm sorry, even if you're not live but watching on the replay, the like button still helps. It's a big deal for us YouTube guys. Really helps that algorithm and drives the video into the algorithm and helps more people to see it. And subscriptions help too. Help us get the channel up to 2,000 subs. We're on the road to 2,000. And of course, comments help whether you're live or whether you're watching on the replay. We appreciate you guys, all of you that are in the house tonight, and those of you who are watching back as well. Cool. That's funny, man. I love it. Lizel Barnes says, like if pepperoni rolls are not good. What? Like if they are good. John Kelly says, smash the button, y'all, and sub up. Couz does a great job. Thank you. And so does Paul. Can't leave out my guy. So not they, just keep an eye on him. Okay. It makes sense. I missed that the last game when I made that comment. So, man, I hope he's okay. That's the most important thing. Yeah, they can afford a coach, Jay. I don't think the money troubles are tied. I mean, does it affect athletics? I'm sure it does to a degree, but I don't think it will impact them to the point they can't go out and find a good coach. And I've heard a lot of people on social media talking about, we can pay a coach $4 to $5 million. That's what Huggins was making. I don't think West Virginia is going to pay a coach $4 or $5 million. And frankly, I don't think they should. Neil Brown's not even making that. They're not going to pay the basketball coach more. In this case, I don't think they should pay the basketball coach more than the football coach. Just my opinion. Football brings in a lot more revenue. That's where the most of the money. Huggs was an anomaly because he was a legend. He was a big name, and he had kind of earned it, right? But I don't think the new coach is going to make the kind of money Huggs was making. Yeah, it depends on who's out there. Good point, Cole. And the women's team, man. The women's team won against BYU tonight. Got to give them a shout out. They can continue to win and win and win. I wish they would stop showing their games at the same time as the men's games so I could actually watch them. Yeah, I need to, man. I need to, G. Smyrna. He says I need to do a show about the ladies basketball team. We've talked about that. We just don't, man, we don't have time to cover between our football channels and this. It's just tough, man. It's tough to find enough time. At least the women are balling out. They are fun to watch. I didn't really understand that comment, Lazo. He says committing slander until WVU turns it around. It must be from an earlier comment. Oh, talking about the pepperoni roll comment. Like your pepperoni rolls are not good. That's funny. Coles D says, see. Oh, John. Yeah, that was the comment I wanted to read. He says, I remember playing him Creed on the radio. He likes to rock just like me. Haha. Yeah. John's a radio DJ and an online radio DJ, and I had him to play me some Creed, my favorite band. Cole says he's been to several women's games, worth the ticket price and fun, especially if you have little ones. Yeah, I've been thinking about getting up there this year to a game, man. I just haven't been able to work it out yet. Yeah, Paul's fine. Like I said, he just has some family stuff he had to take care of tonight, and it just unfortunately wasn't able to. It kind of coincided with this post game show, unfortunately. So, but he wishes you guys the best, and he misses you. Jay Wright. No, I don't think Jay Wright wants to get back into coaching, Lizel. I'm sure they'll call him. Matter of fact, I think they already did back in the summer because that was kind of you got to go with that low hanging fruit, right? The guys who aren't coaching right now. I think they did call Jay Wright, but I don't think he's interested. I think he's pretty happy with his TV gig right now. And honestly, I'm not sure they could pay the money he would demand. You probably would have to pay him $4 or $5 million. Yep. Yeah, Earval, I've actually Earval says doubleheader on 217, women and men's. I've actually thought about going to that, Earval, but I haven't made up my mind yet, to be honest. Luke Armercall said he still thinks Dusty May would be a great hire. Guys, this is going to be a short one tonight. I really don't have a whole lot to talk about. These games where they lose like this, it's tough to get on here and talk for an hour about it. There's just not a whole lot to say. BYU beat their Highness tonight in the paint. Too many 3-pointers given up. Didn't get the ball down low to Jesse enough offensively. Raekwon, I thought forced way too many shots again, like he has in several games. Something I hadn't touched on yet. Look, Raekwon Battle's a fantastic basketball player, but he forces way too many shots, in my opinion. He needs to do a better job moving the ball. Let some of these other guys help him more. I mean, there's other guys on this team that can score. Look what Kerr did tonight. Obviously, you've got Jesse. Josiah Harris can score the ball at times. Noah Farrakhan can score at times. Let some of these other guys score the basketball. He tries to force it way too much. He needs to let the game come to him, let his ability do the work, and he'll get his points. I would love to see him do that more. Yeah, and Earval, that's what the shot selection is exactly what I'm referring to. His shot selection is just not good at times. Dusty May did get a big contract extension, Lizel, but not sure if that's kills the deal. Luke Armercost mentioned Andy Kennedy. I heard from a source that Andy Kennedy was, on the list of coaches, but I'll be honest with you, that name doesn't really excite me right now. I think there might be better options out there, but again, I trust Rimbecker to make the right hire. So whoever he hires, I believe in him. Who needs more touches, Lizel? You talking about Raekwon? He gets quite a few touches. Yeah, Greg McDermott is another name I've heard brought up too, Chris, from some fans. I'm not sure if he's on the list or not, but I have, a lot of fans have brought his name up. He gets quite a few touches, in my opinion. Now, teams are keying on him because they know he's such a good scorer. And when he gets it, he tries to force the issue instead of, scoring within the flow of the offense sometimes, I think. I see what you're saying. Less shots per touch. Yeah, that's fair. I can agree with that one. You don't want me coaching, Cole. Absolutely not. I'll take the salary though. He may not be, I'd probably be fired after the first season, but I can make my $1 or $2 million and go to the house. G. Smyrna says they do too much one-on-one, not enough passing. Absolutely. And watching BYU tonight, when they watch that film back, they're going to see how important it is to pass the basketball, because that's exactly what watching BYU was. Actually, matter of fact, somebody I think even mentioned it earlier. Mentioned John Beeline in the chat earlier on in the show. It's kind of like watching the West Virginia offense under John Beeline, was it not? A lot of the guys cutting to the basket, passing the ball around, getting wide open threes, playing inside out from your big guy with your big guy. Big Aaron says, can't wait to start watching Couz from the Hills on the Apple Vision Pro in the next few years. Boy, that thing's neat, man. I saw the commercial for that the other day. I'm a little blown away by that. I'm still trying to figure out how it works. Curtis D mentions Ben McCollum as a potential coaching candidate. Yeah, his name's been popping up a lot too. He's a great coach, but man, it worries me to hire a coach from Division II all the way up to Power 5. That's a big jump. That might be a tough one. I'm not sure I would feel great about that one. But again, I trust Ren Baker to make the right call there. He hits them out of the park when it comes to basketball coaches. So I trust him to make the right decision. Lizel says, is there more to Huggins just being there than just enjoying the game? I don't think so, Lizel. I think Huggins still, he still lives in Morgantown. He still loves West Virginia. He's basically a fan now. And I think that's, he's going to the games as a fan. Is the way I understand it. Now, I'm sure he gets treated differently than just any fan. But still, I think I don't think there's any more to it than that. At least not that I'm aware of. Well, guys, that's about all I have for this show tonight. I appreciate you guys hopping in here for this quick 30-minute live stream. Again, harder to do these when you lose, but nonetheless, I know you guys were looking forward to it. I did have time to do it and jump on here, so I decided to go for it. But I appreciate you guys hopping on. Thanks for tuning in to Hoots from the Hills, and we'll catch you next time. I'm done.